See, the more Democrats keep supporting these kinds of people and promoting these kinds of people, the more they're going to suffer politically. Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Sharma Show. Thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you. Man, life comes at you fast. So there's this fellow named Ziad Ahmed who got absolutely shellacked on social media when he, in a very condescending tone, asked Bernie supporters to vote for Joe Biden. Now, before I go ahead and talk about what happened with Ziad Ahmed, I need to explain a little bit of the background of Ziad Ahmed, who he is, and what kind of stuff he's involved in. So this year at Holi, an event named Holi Against Hindutva was organized by a group called Students Against Hindutva, and it was held in various universities across the United States. So Students Against Hindutva is an organization made up of students from various American universities that was looking to celebrate Holi against the Hindutva ideology. And you know what that means? Anti-Hindu bigotry alert. See, criticizing Hindutva and speaking up against Hindutva is a tried and tested excuse for openly displaying anti-Hindu bigotry. So this group, Students Against Hindutva, also wrote an open letter to the Congress of the United States of America. This Congress, remember, is a Congress that is largely controlled by the Democrats. Many of these Democrats have made baseless allegations and baseless claims about India in terms of Article 370 and in terms of the Citizenship Amendment Act. This is the same Congress that held an absolute nonsense hearing about Kashmir, where they invited a bunch of anti-India, anti-Hindu voices. They invited one pro-India voice that was willing to tell India's side of the story in this whole matter, and they also treated that one voice very unfairly. In fact, the one journalist that had actually been on the ground in Kashmir, Aarti Tikku Singh, and who had actually reported from the ground in Kashmir, she was called a mouthpiece of the government by Ilhan Omar. So this is not a Congress, and these are not politicians that are going to give Hindus and India a fair shot. So this letter talks about the undemocratic treatment of Muslims in India. How? The Citizenship Amendment Act has nothing to do with Indian Muslims. The outlawing of the triple talaq, in fact, was a monumental move in restoring rights and dignity to millions of Muslim women. The abrogation of Article 370 in Kashmir restored rights to the non-Muslim communities in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. In fact, the government of India has also announced 5 crore scholarships for Muslim girls to help these Muslim girls get a better education and join the Indian mainstream. They've also taken steps to secularize madrasa education in India, something that has been welcomed by various religious groups in India. So where is this undemocratic treatment of Muslims that you're talking about? So Ziad Ahmed, the fellow that I mentioned earlier, is the person who edited this letter, and he tweets under the username Ziad the Activist. Really?
Hey everyone, in this video I wanna be showing you guys how to suck your own dick.
Activist in the username? Really? He was also part of the collective that launched this whole Holi Against Hindutva campaign. So once you use the word Hindutva, in liberal circles, that's basically a free pass for you to attack Hindus. Just like Zionism is used as an excuse to get a free pass to attack the Jews, just like calling someone a Nazi is used as an excuse to attack someone who's white, similarly, the word Hindutva is used as an excuse to attack Hindus. Ahmed here has previously worked for the US Department of State, Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign, Martin O'Malley's 2016 campaign, and the Congresswoman Bonnie Watson Coleman. See, the politicians mentioned here are all politicians who made controversial and contentious statements about India, about Kashmir, and about the Citizenship Amendment Act. The website of Student Against Hindutva also mentions 2 South Asian organizations. They say, thanks to the leadership of progressive giants in the South Asian diasporic community, such as the South Asian Americans Leading Together, SAALT, and Stand With Kashmir, along with the energy of a new generation of South Asian Americans, we are building a determined diasporic solidarity network. What's interesting is there is absolutely no mention of the Hindu American Foundation, which is one of the big South Asian advocacy groups in America, because the Hindu American Foundation does not hate Hindus, because the Hindu American Foundation does not use Hindutva as an excuse to bash Hindus. See, both of these organizations, SAALT and Stand With Kashmir, are deeply Hinduphobic organizations who have lied constantly about India and about Hindus, about the situation in Kashmir, and about the Citizenship Amendment Act as well. These organizations are vehemently opposed to any form of self-determination that the Hindus might develop. In fact, SAALT was the organization that supported the firing of a Hindu Biden staffer named Amit Jani just because he supported Modi.
One day I'll pass this on to you.
Just like your mental illness?
Yep, just like my mental illness.
Stand With Kashmir is also an organization that has painted the whole problem in Kashmir and the whole insurgency and the anti-Hindu hatred in Kashmir as a secular issue.
Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
Furthermore, Stand With Kashmir does not recognize the Kashmiri Hindu genocide as a genocide. It just sees it as a migration. And Stand With Kashmir also not at one point has blamed Pakistan for starting the entire mess in Kashmir in the first place. And also what's incredible is the feature image that Students Against Hindutva has used when writing the open letter to the Congress of the United States. The image that they have used is the same image that was used to propagandize the anti-Hindu bigotry during the anti-CAA protests in Delhi in India. In fact, the women that have been showcased in that feature image are the same women that were lionized by Indian media and painted as some kind of freedom fighters in India. But it turns out that these women are not some liberal warriors. These women are not some doyens of liberalism and free speech that the Indian media had hoped for. The women featured in this photo have openly called for Islamic Jihad. The women featured in this photo have openly rejected secularism in favor of La ilaha illallah, or there is no God but Allah. The women in this photo have also openly celebrated perpetrators of Hindu massacres like the Mopila massacre.
You done messed up, Aaron!
So who you're friends with really says a lot about you. And according to Students Against Hindutva, their end goal is to dismantle the Hindutva project. So it's not just the repealing of CAA, it's not just the repealing of the abrogation of Article 370. The goal here is the destruction of Hindutva and the destruction of any semblance of self-respect and self-determination that the Hindu community might develop. Because as you know, these liberals, they like their Hindus docile and submissive, and they will be happy to do whatever it takes to achieve that objective. They will be happy to support these anti-CAA protests, which have been violent from the very beginning. And now, how do you say, the chickens have come home to roost. So Ziad the activist made a video about why Bernie supporters should come around and vote for Joe Biden, and the video was a very condescending video.
To the Bernie supporters on this app who still refuse to support Biden, my question to you is, who are you serving and who are you helping? You get no brownie points for posturing ideological purity. You don't help anyone because you feel better about not voting for him. You know what does help people? Having a president who believes that we need to get healthcare to more folks. Maybe not as many folks as you and I want, but more folks. You know what does help people? Having a president who believes climate change is real and happening. You know what does help people? Having a president who will name a vice president that is a woman who will defend women's rights. You know what does help people? Having a president who will name people to courts for every level of this country that defend Roe versus Wade. You know what does help people? Having a president who believes in increasing welfare. It might not be everything that we want, but some progress is better than no progress, and we can't claim to care about issues if we don't support them right now. Enough with the bullshit, period.
And look, man, people have genuine concerns about Joe Biden, and I understand those concerns, and so should you. Biden, just like Trump, has sexual harassment allegations on him, and on top of that, his brain's literally melting.
Rich Fitzgerald, the county executive for Allegheny County executive, for being here, and we don't always live up to that's who we are. Go to Joe 30330 and help me in this fight. Union workers, the UAW took incredible cuts in their future. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. We choose truth over facts. That's why I'll end the gag rule, the global gag rule that prevents money from getting to NGOs to conquer devastating diseases like cancer and addiction and Alzheimer's.
So I would understand when people say that Biden's not a great candidate and that they don't want to vote for Biden. So I understand that, but apparently Ziad the activist does not understand that, and he produced this really condescending TikTok video talking to Bernie supporters, and he got absolutely roasted. And I gotta say, I did enjoy it. We're not the same, bro. Why do you think this works? I met countless poor people of all races who won't show up for Biden because decades of being used for votes and abandoned has left them disillusioned, and they've given up on the status quo. You don't speak to them or their issues at all, just condescend.
Yeah, boy.
Yale in the bio and activist in the name is sending me. This is a bad spoken word poem and a worse take. I'm still voting, but you won't catch me blaming my friends for walking away from a system that has failed them. As a very class privileged male, please stop shaming low income folk or survivors into voting for Biden. I am reminded again why I hate spoken word poetry. This dude is the son of a former Citibank executive and a Princeton alum, LMFAO. Also, that living room is green screen, so you wouldn't see his real house, LMFAO, the definition of liberal elite. Karma is a fun thing. And at the same time, it's also important to realize how skewed the narrative against India and Hindus is in America, particularly in the liberal circles. These people are considered the spokespeople for Indian issues and for Hindu issues. I hope that progressives and Democrats both realize that these people are not in your best interest. These extreme SJWs are what cost you in the 2016 elections. These extreme SJWs are what turned the culture against you. And if you continue to project these SJWs as your representatives, it is going to cost you in 2020 as well. Now, whether you want that to happen or not is completely up to the Democrats. And I want to ask you as well, do you think that associating with these people and projecting these people as their representatives is going to cost the Democrats in 2020? Yes or no? Let me know your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Anyway, guys, if you like this episode, make sure to leave a like, leave a thumbs up. It really helps me out. It really helps this channel out. Make sure to comment and let me know your thoughts as well. Also, if you like the Sham Sharma Show and if you'd like to support the Sham Sharma Show, make sure to become a patron by clicking on the link down below. By becoming a patron, you will get the brand new mugs that have been already shipped out to some of the patrons. So if you want those mugs, make sure to become a patron. You will also get access to the WhatsApp and Discord servers of the Sham Sharma Show as well. Also, if you like the Sham Sharma Show, if you like to support the Sham Sharma Show, if you like this episode, and if you haven't subscribed already, what are you doing? Button's right there, man. Just click on the button and subscribe. Make sure to press the bell icon as well. And yeah, we've got an episode here and an episode here that you should go watch. I'm sure you'll enjoy them as well. I will see you for the next episode. And until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys soon.